What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Jesse and this is video 9 in my bungalow renovation series. In this video, I'm going to be installing LED lights through the living room and the kitchen. And this is an overlooked step that some people just gloss past. If you remember, the original living room had this old ceiling fan with a couple bulbs. There was like this center bulb. In the next room, in the kitchen, just had like a light bulb in the middle, and it was probably originally just like a fixture there that sat in the middle of the room. This is going to cast even light across the rooms. I can dial in the light temperature, which is really cool. And I'm going to put them on three-way circuits so that you can turn a light on as you come in the door and then off as you go to bed or vice versa. So I'm going to talk about three-way circuits, these LED wafers that are really a neat product and easy to install, and how important it is to measure correctly and get the lights in the right spot. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today I am working on lighting, more specifically recessed lighting in the living room and kitchen ceilings. So I will walk around and show you how I've taken some measurements and where I'm going to place these pucks, I guess you'd call them, and I'll explain a little bit of my thought process. We'll start in the living room, and in here I've got 2 rows of 4 lights each. This is a 12-foot wide room. I'm going to have 4-inch wafer or puck lights, and I have them placed in lines 36 inches off of the sidewall and 36 inches off the back wall to start, and then spaced equidistantly approximately 48 inches apart to the edge of the room. And so that will kind of define the living room space with those lights. And this is a little trick I learned. You cut out the center of a paper plate and tape it to the ceiling so you can get a feel for what the actual size of the light will look like. You can get a look into the corner, make sure it's kind of placed equally. You can see that chalk line. I measured 36 inches off at the corner and then 36 inches off back here, and ran a chalk line so that I'd have them all straight. Same right there. Then we'll turn around to the kitchen. Kitchen's a little bit different. This is more task-oriented lighting. So first piece is this one here. So that will be for this, mostly for this pantry cabinet. So when you open the pantry, I want that light to be able to shine in and hit the shelves well so that you can see what's back in there. So that'll cover that one. And then these 2 will cover ambient light over this countertop. This will be the main use countertop. There's also like a sconce over the window that'll be absolute task lighting. So if you're just late night, you want to do the dishes, or you're going to get up and not have a ton of light, that'll be for that. And then there'll be a 36-inch fridge, a very wide fridge for the space. So it's actually going to come out to about here. And so I've got this last light, and I'm not certain on this placement. So that last one will basically center over the stove and this 21-inch cabinet and hopefully provide a light cone that comes down over the 2 of them. And it's far enough out from the wall, it's 36 inches out from the wall, that it will be able to shine a cone past this and past the shelf that will be above here. That'll hopefully work out just right. I may end up moving that one. And then those I placed on the same joist bay, so that there's a little bit of consistency. Let's get one more look at each. There's the living room lighting. That one in the corner is kind of hard to see, but there's 4 and 4. And then there's 4 in here. All right, so now I'm going to get to actually cutting these holes out. So I've got them marked here. I'm going to pull this off, and I've got an X where it needs to go. Then, because of the light size, I have a 4 1/4 inch hole saw for a 4-inch LED light. And the real key here is you've got a pilot bit that's going to hit right on the X. I'm going to run it in the normal direction to set the bit, and then I'm going to turn it in reverse, and there's a couple reasons why. So the first reason is that if you go forward, the teeth on this blade can catch and kind of wobble around, and you'll just make a big mess of your drywall. If you go in reverse, they just kind of skim and score the paper on the drywall. And then if you just apply gentle pressure, it'll continue through the gypsum and cut right on to all the way through. The other thing is, if you don't know exactly what's on the high side of this drywall, like a wire or something could be running, and if your teeth are going in the direction where they could grab something, they could grab and cut a wire. Of course, the electric's off, but you still don't want to cut your wires because then you have to rerun them. So if you go in reverse, it'll just kind of skim the edge of the wire. It won't cut it. Just makes it a whole lot better. So here we go. It's that easy. So now you can see I've got all the holes cut for my lights, my recessed lighting. So now the next step is going to be to get some juice to those lights. So if you come over here, so this is where the switch for what used to be the ceiling fan in the living room and the ceiling fan out on the front porch. Now, in this box, if you can see in there, there's some old knob and tube wires that were running both of those. Don't really want that going on. So what I've got, and this is something I've kind of I'm trying myself. I've got the new Romex wires taped onto the old knob and tube wires, and I'm going to go up in the ceiling, up in the attic, and pull these through up the channel and hopefully bring all these wires up into the ceiling so that I can run my switches. Now, one of these will be to supply power. So this is a 14-2. This will be to supply the switch over to the fan over there. And then this one is a 14-3 wire that's got an extra red wire that will supply a three-way switch that will run over to this door right here, so that you can operate the ceiling lights in the living room from the front door over there. And as you're headed to bed, you can cut them off right here. So three-way switch is very handy. A little more tricky to wire, but not too bad. So I'm installing these slim LEDs into the holes I drilled in the ceiling. These are 4 1/4 inch holes for 4-inch lights, and so it's got a little cable here that will connect to the box that will be wired up in the attic, which I'll show you in a few, and these little tabs, so you see the tabs that will hold it in place. These are super simple to install, so you're just going to fold the tab up, place it on the edge of the drywall, tuck the cord, then fold the other tab up, and pop, it's in. Now we just connect the wires and wire all of these together, and we'll have lights. All right, so we've got the junction box for the lights that'll go in the ceiling. Open it up. Inside, we've got the wire nuts. And we've got 3 wires here. We've got the black, the white, and the green. Black goes to hot, white to neutral, green to ground. And then we've got some knockouts here. And so I'll knock that out and put in one of these. It's called a tension relief for the wire. So the wire pokes through there and then it can't back out. That'll go right into the hole there. Wires will go in here, get closed down. And then this connector, you can see it plugs into the light that's in the ceiling, and it has a little notch so that you can't plug it in wrong. And I'll show you what that looks like once it's wired up in the attic. Up in the attic, above the ceiling in the living room, this is the final junction box in the series. So you can see where the Romex wire runs into the box there. And then we've got the 3 sets of wire nuts with white, ground, and hot. So I'll close that up. Ouch. And then this connector will connect to this that's on the top side of the light. So you can see the light right through there. So I'm going to connect that and we'll go test everything out. All the lights are wired up in the kitchen and in the living room. So I'm going to walk you through the three-way circuit that I set up in the kitchen and living room, and then we'll do a couple tests. But first, I want to go ahead and flip the switch for the kitchen lights and see. Hooray! First thing I want to show you is this is called a three-way switch. This switch and then the switch over there by the window will control the kitchen lights. And the reason I did that is so if someone was coming in the back door, they could just flip that switch on the way in, it turns the lights on. If they're in the house, they don't have to walk all the way to the back door. They can just flip this one on and off. If you're headed into the kitchen, or if you're headed out of the kitchen down to the bedrooms, you can use this switch. This one also has a dimmer, an LED dimmer, so it can control the amount of light you have in the kitchen, which is pretty great. So the way this is wired is you have the power coming into this switch. So this copper screw here gets the power. So that's the hot, or the common. And then this one here has the switched black. And then this one is called a traveler, this red screw, and of course the green ground screw. And those go up in the ceiling over to this one that has virtually the same configuration. So we've got a black common, which this got a little paint on it. So you got a black common on this one. We've got the red traveler there. And then this is the switched hot wire, because the way they connect in the ceiling is the black from the other switch connects to the white on this one, and this becomes the switched hot. Sort of black magic. I'm not really sure how it all works, but it does. So when you flip this switch, lights come on, and then I can walk over here, flip this one, lights go off. Living room switches are a pretty similar setup. So we've got a three-way switch with a dimmer here. This controls the main living room lights up in the ceiling here. And then it connects to a three-way switch down there. Same deal, if you're coming in the front door, boom, flip the lights on. If you're headed to bed right here down this hallway, you can flip those off. This switch controls the can lights that are above the window, and then this one is the light fixture in the dining area. So I'll go ahead and show you this. Turns those on. So we've got 8 LEDs, and then they're on the dimmer. And back up. And then this one will control the lights over there. And then that bad boy is called a Sputnik, and bam! How about that? I will be replacing those bulbs. Those are just placeholder bulbs. They're going to get some Edisons that are kind of a tube shaped. Looks really neat, kind of a retro feel. And so that's the lighting in the house. Right, that wraps up video 9 in the Bungalow renovation series. I hope you really like the new lights that went in. I think it freshens up the space quite a bit. Adding the dimmers and the three-way switches. It's a pretty complicated process, especially for a novice electrician like myself, but it just really enhances the space. You may have also noticed some paint going on the walls. That's been going on kind of in the background. Next video, we're going to hit the kitchen. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when the next video comes up. Give us a like and comment below. Let us know what you think. Do you like the lights? Do you hate them? What about the paint color? Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.